Now I think we're working. I'm gonna make Royfa close her door because she's chair squeaking way too much. Okay, good. That's finally fucking loading. I have sound fucking coming through. Let's get this show on the road. Greetings, Secret Knowledge. Don't know how long I'm gonna stream. I kind of want to set up the this weekend. I may want to do a a stream of the Quiplash and the other Jackbox games, which means I may need secret places to do that in. We'll see. Or, you know, to make the latency less for certain people. But for now, RPG time. Hello, Henry. Assuming I didn't say hello before, because I may, oh god, I'm kind of tired. Hello, Ritzadet. That's quite the meow. I can't really meow. Where's the kitty? Oh, I can't take him from there to make him meow. He may do it of his own accord. He's quite the kitty, though. Greetings, goddess. Oh, and hello, Stennis. I don't think I said hi. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. So I took my M&Ms to work, and I didn't bring them home. So I don't have immediate chocolate. Yeah, I'm playing Shadowrun, the new one that came out in Hong Kong. What do you mean you can't? It's an RPG. Clearly, I'm going to take an alternate path and you'll have a very different setup. While we're waiting, let's read from the scriptures of Securite. OMG, someone DM'd me that an employee at their company opened up an infected website when RDP'd into a server and crypto-lockered the whole thing. X-Face, Dizzy Face. We don't use roaming profiles to ensure that there's no way a virus can hook into registry and spread between machines as one of the reasons. That was obviously a Twitter shortening thing. Or, you know, they put it in there and they had to delete a couple characters. Hack stuff. Step 1, hack stuff. Step 2, get hired. Step 3, make it rain. What do New York Times reporters have left to aspire in their careers? Being David Brooks? Caffeine gives me psionic powers over men and machines, which I use to shape the galaxy to my will. I think Kaspersky might be run by Russians. Alright. Let me get this game open. Come on. That's the wrong button to click on. Steam. I'm so unprofessional. I used to read Check Tingle descriptions, but Ortho wouldn't let me anymore. She actively hurt me. Such violence. Uh-oh. No, I don't have any Check Tingles open. No, go away. No, I don't. I really don't. I really don't. I really don't. I really don't. Go away. No. No, stop it. Stop it. Ow. 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 Oh. Ooh. Ooh, if you're here, you're gonna scratch my back. Up higher, though. Oh, yes. Ah, that actually hurt, but that was good. I might be bleeding. Is there a little bit of blood? Okay. Ah, there is now. I just squeezed my back. All right. Yeah, Securite is one of the most genius things there is. Because they obviously at least are adjacent to the industry, because a lot of stuff they say is actually completely true, but they're also funny about it. And sometimes they put Taylor Swift stuff in there, but that hasn't happened lately, where it's like, obviously, yeah. All right, I got money, right? And I was gonna spend it on optional get some rest. But I've got points to spend, and I'm loaded with money. Let's go buy some shit. Oh yeah. Hello, the final biscuit. Wow, she really scratched my fucking back. Hello, Maximum Law. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I have a minute. Kindly had Wampoa burn your sin. Word is you're doing work for her. Not normal Yellow Lotus stuff. Law shifts from foot to foot. He fidgets with the hardware on his belt. Shadow running. Hello. I don't know how to say that name. Keksik? Keksik. Maybe. K3. Maybe it's backwards. Maybe it's Kiksik. I don't know. I'm bad at things like that. Maybe. Maybe not. I get it. Well, I didn't hear anything about it. Law smiles tightly, like a conspirator. Listen. If you've got info about runs, I can make something, or I can make it worth something. We Wampoans call that kind of thing metadata. Wampoa likes to get the word out on the street from the active operators. Like money? Alright, I can get some money for this. Okay. Your elder heart, okay. You know whose fault this is? She always had it in for Magpie because Magpie was a genius. That turbo-snorting woo-woo idiot and her lackeys almost destroyed the Wampoa network. I hope they string the bones of those morons from the wow. I will tell him. Yeah, you seem fond of Magpie. And Nova Hot Decker. Here's the whole story. He listens in a prolonged silence as you lay it all out. When you're done, he shakes himself, as if awakening from a bad dream. Whoa. Law seems stunned. For real? Man, this is going down in tribal lore. Here, this is a cred stick I keep on hand for when people have special information. Take it. You've earned it. Alright, let's see what I can buy. I want the Renyaku Craftwork. Wait, what do I have? How can I see what I have? I want the Craftwork 1. Yes. I think I got a shitty one, right? Yeah, that's what I have right now. Confirm. Alright. This looks good. Can I sell my old deck? I can sell my old deck. Sell. And now I'm poor. Alright. Later, bro. Tell that to 14-year-old you. Yeah, I would have told that to 14-year-old you. I don't know how long ago that was, but... even 11-year-old me on IRC knew not to put numbers in names. Alright, let's talk to people. Sup, Duncan? You enter Wu's cabin and find him moving through some sort of stretching routine. His muscles ripple as he flows tranquilly from one pose to the next. You don't look different, Andrea. Better, I hope. Sort of. It's like I flipped a few forward chapters. Looks like I slipped forward a few chapters instead of turning a page. I mean, you look like you, just not the you that I knew. Those do sound like song lyrics. No more song lyrics for me. I gave up that dream a long time ago. Remember how Lockjaw used to make fun of my singing voice? He smiles. His teeth are perfect. Said I sounded like a frog with a heart on. I thought my voice was distinctive. I mean, I'm no Maria Mercurial, but what about you? How are you doing? Let's see. A little freaked out. Same here. I may look like I belong here, but I feel like a complete outsider, especially with my accent. Regardless, you're good at running this crew, Andrea. But I don't completely understand. I still don't completely understand. He picks up an ammo box and begins using it like a dumbbell. What do you get out of being a shadow runner? I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Carter thinks that an unexamined life isn't worth living. He smirks. Well, whatever you get out of it, I doubt the trade-off's worth the whole shorter lifespan. At the end of the day, what are you? A shadow runner. A disposable asset. Sinless. Slithering through the cracks of society, doing jobs that are too dirty for the Corps to do themselves. The corpse. Oh, wow, it's really hard to say that. Because it's the word Corps, but it's spelled like that, but it's the short form of corporate people. You don't even appear to be on a corporate balance sheet. I could be more than that. Never heard a story where a Shadowrunner did something other than kill someone, steal something, or perpetuate some other kind of shady shit. But good luck with that. Wu watches you, waiting for you to say something. What did you think of that last run? I don't know. I've had enough ghouls for one lifetime. Barons are full of them. Remember what the 162s did to that Atlanter family that lived down in the town center? Remember how we found them? It's not the kind of thing you forget. Yeah, made my stomach turn. Nobody deserves to go out like that. Especially when they eat all the fried chicken. I can't eat fried chicken anymore. Don't you know how much I love to have myself some churches? I mean, sometimes Sometimes I can't even go to Chick-fil-A. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever be comfortable having a ghoul on our crew. Made sense to keep Melders alive, by the way. Good call. I don't know it. We don't know anyone in this country. Seems wise to try and get some allies. Enough about that. Anything else? I want to talk about you and me. Thinking about getting criminal with Cyber. Oh God, how many times are you gonna ask me that? At least a couple dozen more times. I told you one time I was thinking it when I was 13. Let it go. I'm not gonna pollute my body with that shit. Nope, not for me. That's good. I heard stories about people who went too far, lost themselves. Let's talk about you and me. Yeah, I guess good time now is as good as any. Seems like Carter's death hit you pretty hard. Yeah, she was a good one. We were a real team. Joining Lone Star helped me in all sorts of important ways, no doubt about it. I embraced being a cop. I embraced the mantra of the cop, that when you get her done. I studied my ass off, but no matter how hard I worked, I was never more than a model. I was never more than a model cop with a brutal streak. There were plenty of assignments that were perfect for a big, mean orc like me. Assignments that would have fed my need to hurt people, but I met Carter about a year, and she changed things. She talked about values and goals and prioritize, and constructing the life that you want to live. She was a real trip. She does sound wise. Huh, never thought about that word as a way to describe her. Wise. From an outsider perspective, I guess you'd say that. To me, she was just grounded. She knew who she was, where she was going, and what she got here, and what got her there. Carter understood that the world worked, but compartmentalized it so that she could focus on making a life for herself that made sense. She kept me focused. She helped me get her done. When Raymond asked me to meet him in Hong Kong, I had a feeling I was going to wind up going off the reservation. Apparently my microphone cable is starting to get flaky. Alright. Yep, you honor her, whatever. Let's see. His mouth drops open and then curves into a grin. He shakes his head, still smiling. I'm sorry, but did Andrea Boopkin just give me sage advice? Sounds like you did some growing up of your own. You're not acting like the Duncan Wu I grew up. Wait. Yeah, I don't know what causes that. It shouldn't do that. I hope my problem isn't with the connector on the mic, because I don't want to have to resolder that. Hopefully it's just the cable, because those are cheap. I needed structure, bad. You know that better than anyone. I was already hardcore when we met, Mr. Ultraviolence. I'd do anything to get a rise out of the guys I was rolling with. Gouging eyes, inverting knees, curb stomping, enforced bootlicking. Habanero sauce enemas. Kitten petting. That shit got me cheers. I was like a pit fighter, bloodletting for the crowd, and I learned to enjoy it. But I never learned how to block out the memories of the screams when I was lying in bed at night. The guilt started eating me alive. And then I was scared to be alone with my thoughts. So I tried to drown them out with all the things that you drown things out with. How bad was it? He lowers his head sadly. Pretty nasty. That was before we met. We squatted together, and later when we were living with Ray, I was still a violent sumbitch, but basically under control. That's because of you. You were the voice of reason and the brains. You helped me get her done. I don't remember it that way. Like I said, it's funny how you remember things. It felt like a partnership to you, but believe me, when we were in the streets together, I was the muscle and you called the shots. You pointed and I hit. But later, after Ray got me some counseling, I realized that I let you call the shots so I wouldn't have to. Because I knew what I wanted was wrong. And if what I wanted was wrong, then I don't want to be right. I can't quit you. By following your lead, I was deflecting my own guilt onto you. It was always your decision, not mine. I could just knock heads and walk away clean. Don't look at me. I'm just doing what I'm told. Might as well be as tattooed on my chest. And then you left. Without you there, I knew I was in serious trouble. Poster boy for anger management issues. Reminds me of a story of you read about a guy who used habanero sauce to catch his girlfriend trying to get herself pregnant. How does that work? I don't know how that works. I mean, looking for holes in condoms or something? Anyway, Raymond could provide a stable environment, decent therapist, money for prescriptions, but you know Raymond. He's an egghead engineer with a philanthropic streak, not a drill sergeant. And a drill sergeant was what I needed. I needed structure and discipline in a way that he couldn't offer me. I needed to cage myself in line, or a cage to keep myself in line. So I found myself a cage of rules and procedures and training, Lone Star. Raymond helped me with my application and provided a decent character reference. I got in, and it helped a lot. Lone Star got me where I needed to be, and now that's gone, and you're back. That is not a nice thing to do. That's a violation of the compact between two people when they engage in safe sex. Wu chuckles and chuckles and hooks his thumbs in his belt. I guess I have. It's about what you were doing before you got thrown into that corp facility. So that you had a friend who was in a bind, but that was all you could say. How'd it go? It went fine. I try not to. What are you talking about exactly? Oh man. Are these people that I can see if I click their names? The before time. Oh yeah, the dark times. We're not actually talking about idyllic youth here. Sleeping in dumpsters, running from ghouls, fighting over scraps, and defending your territory. Oh, Reddit. Too long, didn't read. Waste of habanero sauce. Actually, I think it's habanero. I don't think it has the tilde over the end. I have to look that up. If we hadn't found that spot on in the abandoned building, if we hadn't found that spot in the abandoned building, found Lockjaw and Double Tray, we probably wouldn't be here. It's weird to think about it now. I mean, you realize they were teenagers, right? Younger than Gobbet? They felt so old back then. But Lockjaw couldn't have been worth 17 tops. Double Tray was only 13 when... Why were you thinking about back then? I don't know. I guess I was just thinking about anything anywhere but here. I hope he learned his lesson and dodged that bullet right out of, yeah. Really? Have that open? Fucking USB. They need to build like fucking clamps on the cables. Alright. Hopefully your ears were not horribly blasted. Anyway. Yeah, well, going back in time isn't covering... Wow, I think she did make me bleed with that scratch. There's definitely a bump in my back that could easily indicate broken skin. Okay, we're living between the Red Hot Nukes and the 162s. Crazy afterward for anarchists on one side, flesh-eating ghouls on the other. So the 162s are the ghouls, the Red Hot Nukes are the dwarfs. Those are the days that you long for. Long for? This raspy baritone fills the space between you. Bridges it. Survive and watch each other's backs. Yeah, I know. Oh. Yeah, later will be good. Don't get me wrong. Catching up is nice, but I'm not used to being as social as this. It's one of the reasons why it was nice working under Carter. We both appreciated long silences. It's all good. She's gone and I've accepted that. Alright. Let's go talk to some more people. Yeah, but Ortho isn't actually a cat, she's a person. Where are... There, hi. Hi, Goobit. Gobbet looks up from a dented tin of oysters at the sound of your approach. Her rats, madness, and folly scurry from her hips to her shoulders. Two sets of beady red eyes fix themselves upon you. Hey, Seattle, oyster. She spears a gray lump of seafood with a fingernail and extends it to you. It smells like low tide at a municipal pier. No thanks. She shrugs and pops the oyster down her mouth. Suit yourself. So you're here for a reason, ... Any thoughts about the last run? I don't get the Wampoans, I really don't. Isabel's about the closest I usually get to their particular flavor of crazy. You'd think that with all that technology and backup, they'd have been smart enough to not to stiff a red samurai on payment, much less a ghoul. I don't know, for smart people, they seem pretty dang done to me. I think we pulled off a damn miracle back there. Not only did we get a creepy-ass close combat expert on our side, we exposed the elders and got ourselves a nice bonus for being smart. Not a lot of jobs go that right. I'm feeling better and better about having you in charge, Seattle. How do you like life here on the boat hole? It's fine. Shaping up. Having new roomies is always nice. Especially the hot ones. She smiles at you. Winks a little bit. Licks one of her sharp teeth. That'd make it really complicated. Anyway, how you enjoying your cabin? Comfy enough for you? I will get used to it. Yeah, you will. It'll happen quick, too. Quicker than you'd think. Trust me, I know. She gestures at the peeling walls of her cabin. It may not be much, but we're safe here. In the shadows, that's everything. That's the spirit. A lazy smile spreads across her face, and as her fingertips brush Madness's back, the rat squeals and darts back into the safe haven of Gobbet's hair. Yeah, you know, Bullhole is a pretty mediocre name. Yeah, sure. I considered changing it a bunch of times. I never really cared enough to actually do it, though. You want to call herself something else? I'm open to it. I think it's against the rules to change the name of a ship. It's bad luck. I'm here to be a better Shadowrunner. Maybe I should have. No, wait, you're right. I made the offer. It's only fair to pay up. Besides, you need to learn this stuff somehow. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna tell you a story about a run gone bad. Tell me what you'd have done in the rendered place, and we'll compare notes. Alright. That does work for me. She sweeps a tangled rope of hair out of her eyes and back over a pointed ear. After a moment of silent contemplation, she bites her lip and nods. Okay. This is a story from early in my career. So this is a story about... Okay. I was part of a team here in Hong Kong, but I did some occasional moonlighting with another group based out of Macau. I was a busy kid. Go on. The job was a hit on this tower. Sort of a TRID multiplex / apartment complex. I'm sure that they've got them in Seattle too. You know the kind. 7 huge screens, monster concession stand, coffin apartments on top like barnacles on a whale. Yep, I lived in one for a while. Yeah, that'll happen. And yeah, I have noticed that when cats are clawed in the front, they use their back claws more, which makes sense because they have to counteract the fact that they don't have fingertips. And this cat wasn't declawed by the owner of the cat at the time. It was something that was done against their consideration because they were against that. And I will be right back. I had to check my bleeding back. You don't think? Come on, let's take a look at this. You owe him a treat after that. Yes, you do. You owe him a treat. Just go in the bag and give him a treat. You deserved it. Yeah, my back is red. Ortho's colorblind. Okay, our client wanted us to break in one of the apartments. The story was that an ex of hers, a guy named Boggs, lived there. She'd been cooped up with him until about a week prior. Then things went sour in a big way. She wanted us to get back some of the things Boggs kept when he kicked her out, scare the shit out of him. Bloody him up a bit, make it look like a robbery. You know the drill. Does sound like a job for gangsters. Yeah, it was a pretty bush league gig. But the pay was decent enough. Not the sort of thing you'd turn down. Anyway, Sibilance, that was our group leader, had a plan. We knew we had to go quiet, but we needed to go quiet because the Metroplex had a panic system wired directly to the Hong Kong police force. We'd gone in shooting, we'd be drowning cops in 10 minutes. Sib thought that maybe we could take advantage of the apartment's terrible soundproofing and kick in Boggs' door when the movie got loud. We'd camp out near his doorway, wait for the stealing to start raining past her, then smash our way in. Wow. This kind of sounds familiar. Yeah, it's pretty close to what John Wilkes Booth did when he assassinated President Lincoln. What the hell is wrong with my brain? My brain does not fucking work. It's when Matt Damon assassinated President Clinton. No. Alright, brain, we can do this back together. Sid was an amateur historian. He used to bore the rest of us to tears. But I guess that could occasionally come in handy. So we waded into the hall, just like Sibilance planned. We had a guy on the elevator, another at the stairs. I was waiting by the floor's communal kitchen. Sib took up a position by the door. She had these cyber legs that she dumped a ton of Nuyen into, hydraulic jacks. Strength enhancements, the works. Girl could probably leg press a dump truck. Come to think of it, most of her plans involved kicking things. There's something a little sad about that. Focus, Gobbit. Dolby. Right, the story, right. So we heard a boom from downstairs. Felt the walls shake with reverb. Sid wheeled back and gave the door a massive kick, just as he'd planned. From where I was standing, I couldn't really see what happened next. I could hear a massive crack as the boot slammed into Duraplast. The door flew off its hinges, exploded, might be a more accurate phrase. A second later, we heard an ungodly crash. There was a moment of silence, and Sid let this little gasp. The apartment was in shambles. It looked like a hurricane had hit it. Everything was trashed. Everything but the door, which was miraculously still in one piece. Remember, this was a coffin apartment. It wasn't much wider than the door to begin with. And Boggs, well, what was left of him was under the door, too. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't good. Boggs was dead, and the stuff that we'd been sent there to recover had been smashed to bits. And then the building alarm went off. So that's the situation. Our payday is smashed. My temporary teammates are all standing around with stupid looks on their faces. The cops are coming, and I'm standing in the kitchen. She plants her hands on her hips, smiling. What would you have done in my place? Gotta improvise. Good thinking. As it happens, there was. I knew just what to do with it. Thought popped into my head, and I just went with it. She taps her temple with a smile. And hello, SS Trippy. That's a lesson to remember, Seattle. The first answer you come up with is almost always the best when you're gonna have, so just roll with it. Don't second guess yourself. Don't hesitate, just act. You'll live longer that way. Now, when I think crowded theater, I think place where you can't shout fire because it'll cause a panic. Then I thought, cops don't charge into burning buildings. They help people get out of them. As it happened, I had the means to create a real, genuine fire sitting across from me. A pair of industrial ovens. You set the building on fire. I encouraged it to burn. Opened the gas vents wide. Set the rage on a timer, and then motored back to the hallway. The others started arguing amongst themselves. I told them to snap out of it and follow me down to the lobby. We had to clear the hallway before an errant spark took the whole floor out. Unfortunately, the rest of the group wouldn't listen. Sib and the rest of the team were too busy arguing about the relative merits of her let's kick things really hard and see what happens tactical systems to want anything to do with me. I shouted them back. I shouted back to them that the kitchen was going to explode and continued down the hallway. Just like I had planned, I got out of that run in one piece. So did every single one of the people in that multiplex. The fire plan worked out beautifully. If the rest of the team listened to me, they might have gotten out of the building too. Kind of a bummer that they didn't. But at least the run turned out well for me. How? Well, I couldn't collect any pay because the run had been a disaster, but after the explosion, I got a ride in front of a fire truck, and they gave me cookies and a blanket. I ended up dating one of those firemen a few weeks later. All things considered, it could have gone worse. I didn't get to see his fire hose, though. Gobbet clasps her hands together and rubs them, a satisfied look on her face. So, Seattle? The laughter disappears from her voice and her expression goes serious. It's like somebody flipped a switch suddenly. The look in her eyes is shrewd, calculating. Tell me, what's the moral of the story? What lesson was I trying to convey? Go with your gut. That's right. Trust your impulses. Don't be afraid to wing it. Almost any action is better than no action at all. Once you've committed to doing something, you've got to follow it through. No arguing or hand-wringing. Just do it. Never mind. If you get caught up in your own head, agonizing over past mistakes, well, don't be surprised if you wind up dead. A kitchen fire can take you down as easily as a cop's bullet if you stand around and let it. Are you certain they're dead? They weren't with me when I got evacuated with the rest of the moviegoers, and I never saw them leave the building. I haven't heard from them since. Henry's glaring at me. What? What are you glaring at me for? I guess it's possible that somebody made it, but I don't really run in those circles anymore. Odds are good that if anyone from the Macau team did survive, they'd have died off by now from sheer incompetence. Shadow running is an unforgiving business. You don't get to make too many mistakes. Alright. Seattle, I'm hurt. Went down exactly like it said I did. Except for a couple of embellishments here and there. But they made a better story. Artistic license and all that. Gobbet leans back and stifles a yawn. Madness and folly dart up her left shoulder and lock their beady eyes on you. Hate to break it to you, kiddo, but I'm beat. It's been a long day. Well, alright. Yeah, sounds good. I'll have your next lesson ready and waiting. She makes a brushing motion with her fingers. What kind of motion with her what? Okay. What are you doing with your fingers? Anyway. Let's talk to Dwarf Lady. Hey, Dwarf Lady. Whoa! Hello down there. It's good to see you again. She smiles at you from down on the monitor, her outline scintillating with blue light white. She looks peaceful, at ease. Any thoughts about that last run? Nope, sorry. Checking out. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I remember. Look, I wasn't trying to cheat you out of your answer. I want you to know that. It's just that talking about the walled city is problematic for me. I understand. I grew up in the Barrens. No, it shouldn't, but things are more complicated than that. The problem isn't that I'm tortured by my bad memories or anything like that. If this were just a discomfort thing I could get through it, the truth is, I can't remember my childhood. The walled city. That entire chapter of my life is nothing but a blur to me. I can give you general information about life on the inside, but the specifics of my own experience are gone. Gone? Amnesia? Let's see. The upshot of all this is that there are things I could tell you. Things that I can tell you about, but only a few, and only in bold strokes. Don't expect any personal stories. I couldn't share them even if I wanted to. So, if that's okay with you... okay, trivia and urban legends. Okay. How did you lose your childhood memories? I'd rather not go into it. It's personal. Suffice it to say that I have never missed them. At least, not until now. If you ever want to talk about it, I'm a good listener. Alright. When I think about the walled city, the thing that stands out most in my mind is the legends, the mythology of the place. If I hadn't lived with them, I'd have found those stories fascinating. A scintillating figure turns to you on the screen. Did you know that the Kowloon walled city is supposed to be cursed? That's what the locals believe. We had ghost stories and everything. Ghost stories? Question mark. Our own homegrown legends about things that haunted the walled city, demons and from other places, the Yama Kings. Academic, ooh. Yama Kings. Derived from the mythological judge of the dead, I assume. That's where they came from, yeah. But the Yama Kings that we told stories about were their own things, bastardizations of the original myth. It'd probably be easiest to think of them like urban legends. Our own little pantheon of monsters and morality tales. The stories are still clear in my mind, even after everything that's happened. Everyone in the walled city believed them. Let's see. You can make a... Yes? Why is there a kitty on my shoulder? Why? No! He's gonna panic fart on me. No, just like... No, stop it! Don't. I'll tell them what you're wearing. No, I won't. No, I've been booped. Alright. Where did I leave off? You can get out of the walled city if you make a deal with Fu Mang. Cut the hearts from the 44 people closest to you and bring them to him. He will reward you with riches. Don't go under that arch, or Jianya will Kianya will catch you. The avatar grabs the air, its hands leaving glowing trails as they move. She'll rip out your teeth, tie your tongue in a knot, and make you her slave for eternity. We had Qi Xiang, our own homegrown judge of souls. Yes? What? You got a spoon. What do you want with that spoon? Is it my spoon? I don't know what you're spooning. You want a spoon? But I don't want a spoon right now. I'm playing a game. We can spoon later. What do you need a spoon for? Aren't there some in the thing? Oh, okay. Sorry. Alright. Spooning discussion is now over. Oh no, she's wearing a shirt of mine, so I'm making fun of her for wearing my clothes. But that's because I didn't do laundry for her because I'm lazy. Let's see, we had Xiang. We had Lam Vai, the ebony queen who'd teach you to hide so well that you'd slowly mutate into a cockroach. It's all bullshit, of course, but everybody in the walled city believed it. All superstitious drivel. We blame made-up monsters for our own failings. There's nothing more pathetic than that. Sounds less... okay. Shared dreams. I don't know, mass psychosis. Maybe something magical's going on, but it isn't them. They aren't real. They can't be. Anyway, that's enough for now. Some software that could help us. All right. Let's go talk to Grab by the Ghoulies here. I assume he's downstairs with the Russian guy. You in there, Grab by the Ghoulies? What's up, Gaichu? Bless you. The storage room that functions as Gaichu's cabin is cramped. Is a cramped, overheated mess. Piles of old ship parts. Share space with tarnished cookware. Flats of instant noodles and a collection of cast-off clothes. And reams of diagnostic manuals for obsolete computer hardware. To top it all off, there's barely any light whatsoever. All of the bulbs in this room are missing. Gaichu is busily moving boxes around, apparently in an effort to carve out some personal space amid the junk that he shares his cabin with. As you enter, he cocks his head and turns around. Welcome to my sanctuary. I apologize for the lack of light, but as I do not need it, but as I did not need it. Gobbet took the bulbs for use elsewhere. What's in the box? And okay, how can I be of assistance? So yeah, you're settling in. I live. I'm among those who can make use of my services and who are not attempting to claim a bounty on my head. Isn't that enough for now? Most are. In the vast majority of cases, the infected become crazed predators everyone sees in the nightly Trid news. I bear the physical signs, but not the mental ones. A few escape that fate. There are others, though. In Africa, there's a nation of ghouls. It's called Asamando. Intelligent ghouls in Asamando care for the ones whose higher faculties have been ravaged by the disease. Still, it's not a safe place to visit. I am willful. Those with a strong sense of self, a chip on the shoulder, if you will, are always those that survive the infection with their minds intact. I suppose I'm selfish enough to have retained a passable semblance of my former humanity. Aside from my heightened senses of smell and hearing, I am stronger, tougher, and more resilient than any mundane human. I can achieve feats of physicality that are normally restricted to adepts and those with extensive enhancements. Guy toothless one hand, fingers crooked to show off his elongated nails. Claws, really. These as well, sharp as any small knife. I prefer my sword, but in a grapple they come extremely handy. You hope at some point a talking Great Dane joins our party? Why? No. He draws one nail over the surface of his shoulder plates. A fine spiral of armor peels off it. Whoa. Do you still need to sleep? Unfortunately, I do. I'm not an undead creature of legend. If I manage to unlock the secret of rest without sleep, I will be certain to inform you. For now, it has. I will not suddenly become a ravenous beast lurking in the hold of your ship, at least no more than I already am. Yeah, tell me about your armor. That is correct. It is the armor worn by the elite soldiers of the Renraku corporate military, the Red Samurai. Correct. The most elite soldiers that a corporation can muster. Trained to the highest and most exacting level possible. That's rare armor to have. That is true. Ooh, you don't strike me as a corporate... Okay. Gaichu. It was given to me. It's what the Japanese call ghouls for the most part. I am a vermin, a thing to be shunned by polite society, to be hunted and slain for a bounty. My old life is gone, it seems, as apt a name for the streets as any I could choose. Kyoto, Sake. Oh man, zombies. And there's a sandwich. Scooby and Shaggy will never get a chance to eat that sandwich. It's the mystery machine. Security. look a little beat up. That must be on Mount Maya. I remember right, I gave better than I got in that fight, 3 against 1. But they were out of shape and cocky. Used to cause a lot of trouble when I was in school. My father was constantly raging that I had no sense of responsibility and that I needed to take life more seriously. The final straw was when he bailed me out of jail. My friends and I stole a delivery van. It had an equipment of Shiawase SimSense decks. Brand new, very expensive. We were going to fence them and use the money to take a trip to Okinawa. You're familiar with it, but it's... Yep. I know a thing or two about it. And you understand how it was. Children are encouraged to participate in acts of vandalism against rival corporations. Unfortunately, we were caught by Shiawase security, not Rinyaku. What did your father do next? That's a story for another time. Still have a lot of arranging to do. Okay. Box of mementos. The lacquered box. Alright. That was touching. Let's go talk to... We've got another accent. Oh, wait. I gotta get ready for this one. Ractor's shop is sweltering hot. Even more so than it was the first time you stepped inside. The whir of actuators accompany the fine motions of the manipulator arms that hang from the ceiling. They're turning an object over again in their articulated hands, soldering wires and hammering rivets. Oh, my friend. Welcome back. Ractor Touch types a series of commands into his bracer, and the arms relax into an idle position. He smiles at you, a cigarette dangling from his lip. There, that's better. Now what can I do for you? He's good, yes? How about last run? The Wampans may be a socially maladjusted group, but I find their philosophies quite compelling. I suspect there's a fair amount of overlap between their vision of future and mine. Your decision to spare the elders was a fortuitous one. I look forward to communicating with them at length about their belief system and the steps that they're taking in accordance with it. Something to look forward to, I suppose. Yes. Layers of nuance are still layered, common nuanced. Now, what else would you have of me? Any other thoughts about the last run? Nope. Perfectly well, thank you. They all seem to be competent enough. Haven't been any major personality conflicts so far. So long as they continue performing to an acceptable standard, I see no reason not to continue our arrangement. It is good to run with team again. You don't manage morale, my friend. You manage team. As long as we continue to succeed, morale will take care of itself. No, I don't mind if you ask me questions, not at all. I can't promise that my answers will satisfy your curiosity, of course, but you may certainly ask. Tumultuous, as you might expect. You probably aren't old enough to remember the Euro Wars, but I am. My country was an instigator of the first Euro War back in '30. I remember the rhetoric, the hardships of living under a wartime economy, the rampant xenophobia that took hold. I remember how we were all cheered when our forces invaded Poland. 30 months. That was all it took for a military to crush, with meager resistance the Poles could bring to bear. It was quite the source of national pride at home. I remember our drive into Germany, and the desperate bid to reclaim the eastern portion of that country for ourselves. Just think about the symbolic significance of such an act, an audacious move to be sure. But Secretary Kropunin was determined to make history. No, the Night Wraith incident did. Night Wraith? Question mark? British made fighter bombers with stealth capabilities. Very state of art, very powerful. At least, that's what they reported to have been. No one has come forward to accept responsibility for the attack. Regardless of who was behind it, the result was the same. Wave upon wave of bombings that targeted our forces and the Germans alike. Coupled with the assassinations of dozens of military leaders. The devastation. Synchronized operation, expertly carried out over the course of a single night. At home, viral attacks shut down our power grids. Hundreds of thousands of Russian homes found themselves without heat or electricity in the dead of winter. Cochet scuttles forward, allowing the rigger to rest his hand on the sloping metal of its chassis. Ractor stares at his own deformed reflection in the metal of the drone body, a sad smile on his face. I remember huddling under a mountain of cheap blankets that my mother had piled up on my bed. They did little to protect me from the cold, but they were something I could hang on to, something tangible that I associated with warmth and comfort and home. There, as my body trembled and I watched my breath frost over, a horrible truth descended upon me. We had caused this. We were the villains. For the first time, I came face to face with what Kropunin's folly had bought us. That is not a Russian name. He is clearly not Russian. And there, under that ridiculous heap of rags, I came to realize what would surely come to pass. The world thought of us as villains. And so they would treat us like villains. We'd be pariahs on the international stage, crippled by retributive sanctions. We would never live down the shame. He wipes his hands, as if cleaning them. A wry smile spreads across his face. And then the AFA invaded Greece and Spain, sparking off Euro War II. We redeployed our troops to repel them, and all was made right again. Oh, we were still regarded with suspicion of force. Of course, but Europe might have fallen if it hadn't been for our help. In essence, we took back our reputation at gunpoint. Not an ideal solution, but it worked. Within a span of 4 months, we Russians had gone from nobodies to a terrible threat to unlikely saviors in the eyes of Western world. Studying exactly how this happened has taught me a great deal about human psychology and social dynamics. Just figure of speech, my friend, nothing more. Now, shall we talk something else? Surely, there are more interesting and relevant things to discuss. AFA? Who's AFA? Ah, yes. Suppose that you wouldn't know. Ow. They were only active in the years surrounding the conflict. The AFA was the Alliance for Allah, serving under the Mullah Sayyid Jazir, A coalition of right-wing Middle Eastern governments that assembled after the failure from sabotage of the United Islamic Conference. They looked to weaken Europe and saw opportunity, one that my country was responsible for creating. Haha, just a figure of speech, fellow human. Let us discuss our infrastructural weak spots. Good evening, Griffineth. So the AFA invaded Europe, but Russia was really to blame. Yes, I cannot blame for AFA for acting as they did. They chose the same path that any hawkish power would have taken given their circumstances. It would have been foolish for them not to. My country, on the other hand, was guilty of sin. We were the ones who blazed the trail. The AFA folded in 37, after Jez Ritter's assassination. Lucky thing for us, the body count could have been a great deal higher. In the years that they were active, the AFA gave us a hell of a fight. No, between my years in Nizhny Novgorod and my time in here at Hale, I spent a year in the free city of Berlin. That was where I got my feet wet as a Shadowrunner. You see, I ran with a team of anarchists for a time, learned the ropes of occupation under their tutelage. Anarchists, huh? An opportunity arose and I seized it. In doing so, I left Berlin for Hong Kong, and I did so without much advance notice. My absence made life difficult for them. They blame me for their hardship. Thank you for taking my side, but I can see their point as well. As I said, my departure caused some complications for them. That said, I haven't lost any sleep over it. I merely did what I had to do. Ultimately, I would say that my time in Berlin was quite educational. Different from my earlier life in Russia, to be sure. What happened when you only double-checked your eBay item? Life in Hong Kong is more structured than in Berlin. Things make sense here in a way that the Flux State didn't. He taps his finger to his temple. I have an orderly mind. Everything is in its place, neatly labeled and filed away. This approach is what allows me to make sense of world. To say that the people I knew in Berlin thought differently would be an understatement. When we first met, I told you I parted ways with Christian Aviakor under unfortunate circumstances, yes. These same circumstances led me to Berlin. I was wronged, and I could not find recourse in Russia. I suppose there's no sense in being vague. I'll tell you the story if you want to hear it. You may remember self-repair system I mentioned first time we met. The module that would allow Koche, or any sufficiently equipped drone to repair itself. I told you that my research had been lost. That was not strictly true. It was stolen by a pair of colleagues who I considered friends. That's unfortunate. So you wanted to get a new 3DS XL and you ended up getting a non-XL standard 3DS. Okay. But they probably had a picture on their thing of the 3DS XL because they just did stock photos because that's how they roll. Yes, the two had long spoken about moving to Berlin. Such was true of a great many academics in Russia. As you might imagine, the stable anarchy of the flux state can be the alluring concept to those living under totalitarian rule. Berlin is much romanticized back home. It was the only thing I had to go on. At best, I could find them. At worst, it would be a good place to rebuild my life. Of course, to establish a web of context, I need to track my betrayers down. God, it's hard to do this voice. It took me over a year to locate my former friends. It was a long, painstaking search. But there was nothing I wasn't determined. Found evidence that they had used my research as a bargaining chips to secure a position at Ares, and that they were here in Hong Kong. I picked up and left next day. I told the team I was to be upset, but sure, Lucky Strike in particular held for my blood. But now I know where my priorities lie. But I know where my priorities lie. Let me look this up. It sounds familiar. Yeah. Okay. I think Lucky Strike shows up in Dragonfall, which is why I looked that up, and the answer is maybe. I must really thank you for inviting me to team. Your abilities will be invaluable when the time... Okay, assuming you'd be willing to help. Of course, just say the word. Thank you, my friend. But this is discussion for other day. We're not ready to hit the Ares facility yet, and there's intelligence, blah blah blah. Today they still call themselves Taylor and Hardingham. Those aren't their real names, obviously. They shed those identities when they left their old lives behind. It doesn't matter now. Those men are dead to me as they are to the world. My old colleagues no longer exist. Taylor and Hardingham. Taylor Swift. Security researchers stole my research. They're targets now, nothing more. What reunion we will have. Yes, much more. As the time as my life works, Tindem is important. Reducing it to a bargaining chip was a deadly insult both to me and all those who would benefit from my work. Let's see. Allow me to answer your question with the question. Are you feeling okay? Yep. Yes, that's alright. Seeds date back to... Alright. Look around you. Cybernetics are a fact of everyday life. Let's look at this Euro War thing. Euro War 2. Alright, we have now talked to everybody. Let's go have a creepy dream. Puppies 3D? You wake with a start. Your limbs bound up in a sweaty tangle of linen bed sheets, and incredible sorrow swells in your chest. You feel empty, half-starved, and alone. Fragmentary memories of a half-remembered dream flit through your mind, and they're fading away into nothing. Chase the memories. You close your eyes, concentrating, willing yourself to keep the dream from slipping away. Gradually, the memory comes back to you. The walled city. You were back in the walled city. You don't remember how you got there, but it couldn't have been any place else. Even the barrens weren't so squalid. You remember craning your neck to look above you. The buildings that made up this part of the walled city were newer construction, even cheaper than the old. Their foundations had rotted out from under them, and the buildings leaned into one another like a gang of drunken men. A rain of plaster and asbestos sprinkled down, dusting your shoulders. You begin to creep forward, picking your way past the piles of refuse and debris, past the pimps and past the dumpster fires, the broken glass and the dirty needles. The air reeked of rot and sewage and industrial waste, a disgusting melange that caught you in your sinuses and crawled down your throat. You gagged on the stink, but it didn't slow you down. In the back of your mind, you knew you had no reason to be doing this. There was nothing for you in the walled city. You shouldn't have been there. But the rest of you was hungry, unbearably, indescribably hungry. And that part of you knew that if you kept moving, you'd finally get to eat. As you forced your way deeper into the walled city, locals stood at their windows and stared. Inexplicably, some of them dropped to their knees. You kept moving. You could see something in the distance, a silhouette. Something enormous, at least twice the size of a troll, but delicate. It was beautiful. A huge figure beckoned you, gesturing with a slender limb. An explosion of warmth filled your chest, and you knew that if you could reach it, your problems would be over. She would make all your sorrows disappear. You moved forward at a crawl, but the figure felt impossibly far away. You reach out, calling to her, and then you woke up. The empty feeling in your stomach slowly fades, taking the strength and vibrance of the memories along with it. I should do a radio play. Yeah, like one of those one-man ghost story things. Maybe for Halloween I could do something like that. That's coming up relatively soon. Recording of Isabel pops up on the screen. She stares into the camera, her eyes full of intensity. If you're watching this, you've decided to listen to my job offer. That's a good thing. I wasn't convinced that you would. Our target is a local Decker, a former Wampoan. Need to get my water again. In the Matrix, his handle is Rhombus. He is the software that we need. Unfortunately, he's unassailable from the Matrix, and no one knows where he lives in meat space, but I know where he's going to be. There's an event that he can't afford to miss. He may already be on his way there. As long as you're reading this message, Deckers from all over Asia, White Hat and Black Hat alike, are converging on the Harbor Spires Hotel. This year, it's hosting DECCON, Hong Kong's largest annual DECCON convention. Yeah! DECCON 23! The badges are so cool! They have lights on them and you can hack them. Rhombus is going to be there, and it gives us an opportunity. Going to hit the convention and find him in meat space. We're going to get the software and we're going to do it quietly. Enclosed you'll find a copy of the plan and worked out to the run. Presented in a bullet point format. Everything should be pretty straightforward. Beep. I will provide you and one other runner of your choice with visitor passes for the convention. I will proceed ahead of you using my own guest badge. I will hide in the women's lavatory on the first floor. You will enter via the kitchen and procure me a uniform from the catering staff. Please make sure that the uniform is a size 4. Hello. We will rendezvous. I will change in uniform, and using it, I will infiltrate the administrative wing on the 6th floor. You will proceed into the convention hall and wait further instructions. Using the admin computer, I will identify Rhombus via his guest registration form. Once I have done this, I will alert you via the comlink. I will upgrade your badge to VIP status, granting you access to the VIP wing of the hotel. You will tell Rhombus that he's been granted VIP status and offer to escort him up to a complimentary hotel room. You will escort him to a room that I designate and hold him there. I will jack out of the Matrix and make my way to the... Okay. We will intimidate Rhombus, beat the tar out of him until he gives us the software. We will tie and gag Rhombus and stuff him into a storage closet. We will not be gentle. It's okay if he starts crying. Actually, please prioritize. I want to see tears. Software in tow. We will make her escape. Alright. Simple plan. Alright, let's do this. Saddle up. DECCON 2056. How do I get to DECCON 2056? Metro? Metro it is. I've yet to go in there. That's probably where the... This is a good time to save. Let's make sure that it... There we go. New save created. Alright, as far as spending karma... Let's give this mission a try. Alright, DeckerCon. I guess I have to take her. Oh, I can have more than...
Be a safe escalator user. Hold the handrail and take care of children and the elderly.
It says that I can have more than one, so... Let's try our... Street Samurai dude. Actually, wait. Guns are useful. And he's got med kits. Alright. Go away, empty bottle. That was louder than it was supposed to be. DECCON 2056. A charter bus carries you from Kai Tak to a mid-range hotel in Swingwan. All around you, the happy chatter of your fellow passengers fills your ears. You hear tech speak in a variety of language and dialects. Talk about new lines of drones and decks, arguments over innovations in data jack technology, and baseless speculation about the next season of Urban Brawl. Your guest badge, a glossy slip of laminated paper emblazoned with a flashy logo, hangs on a lanyard around your neck. Your ticket into the convention hall, and the only disguise that you should need. The bus drops you in front of the Harbor Spires Hotel, and you promptly circle around back. All right. Here's my gear. I am geared up. Everyone else seems good. Let's do this. We can both enter the Matrix. We'll work with that in a second. Reminds me of that dump we squatted in back in Bear Creek, motel with the raccoon problem. Little bastards kept me up half the night, every night. I swear that one of them was eyeballing me. Yeah, I'm just inside the service entrance. Alright, so good. I could barely hear you. Yeah, hang on. Sharing booster signal. Well, that's better. What a pain in the ass. There's too much interference coming from the show floor. We're gonna be able to buy comm links for this. I'll find us a workaround. Alright. Let's concentrate on the task at hand. Catering staff should be on the kitchen. Hauling trays of steamed clams and aperitifs out to the convention hall. I'm gonna need you to find a way to get me one of their uniforms. Okay. Alright. Alright, what am I doing again? Get a kitchen uniform, keep Isabel alive. What's this? Dwarf size uniform. I was at the boys' room. Hey, shady man. Sketchy looking man with a shabby coat. Hey there, you, imp, Yep, that's me. Yeah, let me see your full stock. Eh. I don't want to get bathroom aids. I have the uniform. All right. What am I supposed to do on the phone? Okay, wait by the VIP area. Alright. Alright, let's do this. Oh god, I gotta work a crowd all by myself. No. No, this is awful. Mingle, mingle. Mingle. Hey, I can mingle with you. Let's mingle. Do you feel mingled? What's up? Oh, here we go. What's up, tired attendee? Nope, just passing by. Ooh, a software demo station. Oh, here we go. Myself is from the non-council. From Seattle, yep, no Drake. Well, it's good to meet you, chummer. Most popular fruit. Okay, wow. I'm just saying. Product display. Product display. I bet whatever dude this guy is completely random. What's up, Trolldecker? Where'd you get a cranial deck? I just out-nerded him. Noodle extruder? Yes. That's a shitty tradition. Ooh, software demo station. What about this guy? This Agad Decker. Ain't this a hell of a thing? Lovely show. Lovely show. How bad is it in California right now? I heard Cam, well, I don't say complaining, worried about the heat. But I don't know how hot it is. It's been relatively mild here. Our whole winter, or our whole summer's been more mild than it was probably supposed to be. These Deckers look different from many others in the show. Triple digits. Oh, hello. Hi. You always do this, Harold, and your word questions need strangers to give answers you prefer. When the consensus of the virtue X is the most overpriced rehash in Cyber 6 unless you look in case. Oh, just shut up, Bierce. You're doing the same thing. Besides, everyone knows that Fuchi's going down the tubes. Filler's pulling assets out of the company and okay. Never hot here, it's always me, never mind you, this one's better. Oh, I have enough charisma for this. Oh yeah, okay. It is so much more fun to argue. I don't think Henry knows what it's like to be in hot weather. He's from Belgium. Just looks outside and there's like trees and deer wafting through lakes, making waffles with their horns. Where are y'all from? Oh. Hopefully that's not the crew that, well. I wonder if I had brought Rat Girl, if she'd recognize somebody. Already got that one. I can't afford the Virtua X. Or 10, I don't know. Swap this shit out. Yes. Yes. Can I sell you shit? I don't need that anymore. Alright. I now have better armor. Alright, I haven't talked to all the blue people. Right? Alright. Let's go signal Isobal. Hello, Michael. Haven't seen you in a while. I might actually be playing. We'll see how the timing works. It'll depend on when Ortho's sleeping and whatever, because it's the Arc something free weekend, and we'll see how that runs. But I may be doing some like Quiplash this weekend, which can be fun. But that requires multiple people, so if you are around and not working or plans to up, maybe you could come play. I'm also sleepy. Okay, I'll enter the following key code. Is this PAX Midwest? No, it's not PAX Midwest. Maybe it is. I don't know. There should be a PAX Midwest. And you know what? It should be here. Because I have Google Fiber, and other people need to experience it. And I'm in walking distance of where it would almost certainly be. Yeah, PAX Midwest. And then I'll go there, and then I'll announce my awesome indie game if I... No. Even though I don't have an awesome indie game, I should just announce it and be like, kickstart my game, bro. It'll be best in show. PAX Midwest 2015. Okay. Alright. Let's see if we can find... Would I have trouble with squatters? My building has a guard. Oh. Seriously, microphone? Seriously? Okay, is it the jack or is it like the port? I'm gonna move it out of my USB 3 port. When I power down. Actually, I have to make sure the levels are right, because when it does it, it always ends up with like... I'm sorry, Henry, is it better now? Am I louder? Am I still louder? I don't know, I'm scared. Because I didn't touch it. Is it still... Okay, is it... Okay, because I think what happens is when it does fucking disconnect and reconnect, it only happens for a short period. Okay, oh, she's so cute in her uniform. All right. Let's try this way. Search the computer. All right. That was a nice joke about the terminals of the whatever. Machine full of noodles. What's in here? It's inside the computer. Okay. That's kind of useful. Oh yeah, we're taking some med kits, yo. Alright, this is probably that door. Elevator. Ah. Ding. Uh-oh. Oh, that explains that. Oh, well, that figures. Alright, let's intimidate this guy. Okay, good. Fight avoided. So I still hear constant walking. Okay, this is the other side of the convention floor. And I'm over there. Let's see. Sorry, I'm focused on the stuff because it looks like there's text and stuff, and I'm not talking as loud as I should, or as much as I should. I should be babbling the whole time. Babble, 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 babble. An impressive-looking man in a starched white coat blocks the hallway. He turns and recognizes the familiar pastry magic. Wait, familiar pastry magic and more insignally. He fixes again. Okay. Catering manager. What are you doing back here? We went over this in the staff meeting this morning. I'm the one who's covering this area. The VIP managers only. Hello, convention goer. There is a line. Oh, shit. Oh god, this is awful. Ah. Oh god. Which one sounds better? This makes more sense for the catering crew. Shit, these both could go badly. Alright. Let's see how shit goes now. How is this gonna go tits up? I'm on the other side of this, so this will go well. Alright. There we fucking go. Uh-oh. That's locked. Alright, Bombius, Rhombus. I think the fucking footprint stopped. Can I loot first? What's up, Romby? You're not as hexagonal as I expected. You've got a couple less sides to you than I expected. A little shallow, not as deep. As you burst through the door, you find yourself standing face to face with a small, heavily tattooed man. Geometric shapes of all descriptions trace their way from his temples down to his cheeks and his neck to his shoulders. His eyes continue the motif. Each of his irises is a slanted rectangle. Rhombus looks at Isabel and sighs. If he's surprised to see her, he doesn't show it. You finally want him back, huh? The memories that we locked away? I always knew that you would one day, but you got so hostile after the procedure. I didn't think you'd come around this soon. Oh, get bent, Rhombus. I got hostile with you because you got hostile with me. Like hell I did. I tried to give you some advice as a friend. If memory serves, you referred to me as a patronizing bastard and slagged my deck. Was I supposed to pick it without punching? Whoa. I called you a patronizing bastard because that's what you were being. You wouldn't have taken that tone if you were... Wait, if I were a guy or an orc or a troll. You talked down to me like I was your little sister or something. Well, guess what? I'm not. Oh, I talked that way to you because... Oh, God. E-drama. No! Captain Whiskers! Captain Whiskers, no! Baby hands, where are you? I need to know that you're alive. Kitty. Meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow. Where is he? He's not around. There he is. Someone's cat died. But it was a long time ago. Hi, Kitty. No. Oh, you're so warm, too. What were you doing? Were you laying on the thing again? Was he laying on... He was laying on the thing. Over there. Yeah, on the pain again. He's okay, Kitty. Alright, you can put him back. I'm satisfied that he lives. Ah. Yeah. Aw, you're such a kitty now, aren't you? Aren't you? Kitty. Aww. You gonna go back to where you were before your mama took you? Is that what you want to do? It's probably still warm too. If you get set down there, he'll just go back to what he's doing. He's just a job. Nothing's personal. He scoffs at Isabel, wrinkles his nose in disgust. Typical. That's right. I'm not gonna beat you up, and I want you to... We're totally gonna find out what happened to Captain Whiskers. My panic button. Alright. Let's see if we can get out of here without having to kill anybody. Is there any shit I can steal from this guy's apartment while I'm here? I mean, I know I mended a friendship or something, but... Man, I haven't had a chance to kill anybody in a while. I think once I get the karma from this job, I'm totally gonna just max out on etiquette, which I think I should be able to do soon. Yep, let's get the fuck out of here. Okay, the bus trip back to Kaitak is quieter than the ride-in was. Your fellow passengers sit crumpled in their seats, barely moving, barely speaking. Their DECCON 2056 t-shirts hang loose on their frames, and their once cherished guest badges have been crumpled in their pockets. You've seen more lively groups on their way back to the morgue. On the way to the morgue, Isabel looks up at you, her eyes full of the same post-con fatigue that you see in everyone else's. She gives you a small smile and taps her temple with a fingernail. You've got what you came for. The show's over. It's time to go home. It may be possible to avoid that first fight. Because I think there was an etiquette thing that went into that, so... Alright. What? Okay. Sorry about that. Wow, is that too loud? I can't tell. I gave it some time. I think this cable is just dying. It has been sort of bent around all the corners they could possibly be. This is my last choice for etiquettes that I should be able to get. Now, gang has shown up, socialite has shown up. As soon as you hear doo-doo, you probably hear all the like background noise of breathing and computer noise just going. Well, I ran with, huh. I supposedly ran with a gang, so maybe I have some gang etiquette. So, that sounds reasonable. Intelligence has proved useful as well. Strength might as well, but it's ESP control. Ah. Looks good. Ms. Boopkin. Go to our boat. Which is here. The boat hole. Bolt hole. Yeah, that's... I'm wondering if it's possible to basically skip every mission. Every mission's whatever. Let's go see if he's gonna talk about stuff. Alright. We'll do all this talking later, I think. But I do want to talk to Isababel and then get some game sleep. Actually, he was on the run as well. Alright, you're gonna clear your head. You're allowed to clear your head. Alright, Isabel. Isabel half turns away from the octopus's main display. She looks up at you, blinking. The memory stick that you acquired from Ramos has already been slotted into one of the computer's many expansion ports. The cherry red plastic that sheathes the stick looks slick and wet in the light. You did get back there. The run went well. Her eyes flit down to the memory stick. We got the stick, the key to my old memories. All I have to do is slot it now. Yeah, of course I got thoughts. It was my run, right? And, thank you for coming with me. Don't know if you'd call it that, but we got what we came for. No, not yet. I mean, I can. It'd be as simple as plugging myself in and tapping a key. My old memories are mine if I want them. That's about the shape of it. I'm feeling hesitant about this. It isn't easy, you know. Shifting organic memories into headwear storage, wiping the originals, and then locking them away for safekeeping. That's corporate level mind sculpting, serious business. Very important. If it wasn't, I wouldn't have let an amateur tinker with my brain in the corner of a derelict shopping mall. Whatever I've got up there, I was desperate to get rid of it. Makes a girl wonder why. That is what I'm here for. Is that another word? She pulls the cable from a pile. Okay. Alright, wish me luck. Oh god. Oh, no, 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 no. She starts shaking her head from side to side, wringing her hands in the progress bars. On Octopus's auxiliary monitor slowly climbs. Oh, fuck. Are you okay? I remember now why I didn't want these anymore. Are you alright? No, I'm not alright. I'm the opposite of alright. She clutches her skull. Like she's afraid it's gonna crack open. There's a lot of bad stuff in here. Things that happen to friends of mine, to relatives. Things that I watched happen. Is there anything that I can do? Nothing comes to mind. Her voice is ragged, raw. These memories are crystal clear. Like it all happened yesterday. I can remember watching friends die. I can see their screaming faces just as clearly as I did on the day it happened. It's like watching a Trid show, but it's my life and it's real. I think so, yes. I'll take the time. It'll take time for me to sift through it. I'll hold on to these memories as long as I can. Hopefully enough to reveal something useful. No promises beyond that. One thing does jump out at me. Rhombus archived some software up here. It's sitting on top of the memories, all wrapped up like a present. I don't know why he did it, but it looks like a combat package. A combat package, you say? There's some good news. Can I have the combat package instead? All right. Wait, no, I'm just gonna get some in-game sleep first. Alright, all armor may be useful. Alright. You wake with a start. Once again, you're tangled in your sheets, drenched in sweat. Your throat feels like it's on fire. You can't remember what your dreams were about, not precisely. But again, you feel that yearning sensation, the emptiness in your gut and in your chest. Your head throbbing, you heave yourself out of bed. Alright, well, it is time for me to call it a night. Where is the outro song? Thanks for showing up. Because one day, I'll activate my stream and no one will show up. And I'll be sad. Where is something to... Don't let Ortho know. Okay, here we go. Here's a new one. Pounded in the butt by my leaked Ashley Addison data. Kirps by Chuck Tingle. Kirps Crimple is a senator from Washington, D.C. Knows a thing or two about lying, especially when it comes to cheating on his wife with a seemingly endless parade of big feet who have rods the size of your arm. His favorite website to find hookups, of course, is Mashley Addison, a bastion for cheaters looking for something discreet. But when word gets out that Mashley Addison has been hacked and the private data of several politicians leaked on the internet, Kirps is terrified until he discovers that his sensitive information is nowhere to be found. That's when he receives the call. It starts as a simple meeting with his hacked data quickly turns into a hardcore anal pounding that will have your heart racing. Nobody knows Kirps like his own private information does. Could this be true love or just another strand in a web of lies? This erotic tale is 4,400 words of sizzling, human on gay, unencrypted data action. Oh, God. Is there a way to sort this by publication date? Here we go. God. Hunter Dentist pounded in the butt by Cecil the handsome unicorn. Dr. Milburn loves three things: women, dentistry, and shooting helpless creatures in the face to make himself feel like a real man with a big dick. Suffice to say, when Milburn learns about an illegal hunt in Africa for an endangered celebrity unicorn, he just has to get involved. With the help of two local hunters, Dr. Milburn manages to trick Cecil the unicorn into leaving the local coffee shop and driving just outside the city limits where murdering him is vaguely legal. The last thing Milburn expects, though, is to fall in love along the way. Now grappling with his newfound homosexuality, Dr. Milburn finds himself on the receiving end of some hot unicorn love that will have your heart racing. This erotic tale is 5,200 words of sizzling human on gay unicorn action. Alright. Buttageddon, The Final Days of Pounding Ass, a novel. Oh, wow, is this actually longer? Holy shit, this is 194 pages. When Pupper and a handful of unicorn butt cops leave town on an errand for Mayor Fancy, they encounter a demon unlike anything they've ever seen. A group returns home to find the populace of several major cities across the United States have been systematically kidnapped by devilmans, and they've set out to find the one responsible, Ted Cobbler. Now our hero, his unicorn lover, and a bad boy dinosaur wizard find themselves on a trek across this apocalyptic America complete with ravenous, mutinous asses, flying cocks with scalding hot loads. Okay. Brought to you by the master of sensuality, Chuck Tingle, this erotic novel of gay romance and hardcore ass patting will leave you breathless and begging for more. Death and Taxes magazine raves. Once in a generation, a literary mind comes along who's able to express the zeitgeist of the current age with inimitable, earth-shattering clarity. The 20s had F. Scott Fitzgerald, the 70s had Hunter S. Thompson, the 80s had Don DeLillo, and now, like a beacon shining on the horizon, comes a talent truly of truly astounding proportions. I'm speaking, of course, of best-selling ebook author Dr. Chuck Tingle. Reactor says, Chuck blurs the line between erotica, postmodernism, and metafiction. He is G.H. Lawrence, Paul Auster, and Dennis Cooper all rolled into one. Wrapped in a gi. Don't believe me? Read on. Try to resist the tingle. Don't forget to flip to the back for 2 bonus stories and an exclusive collection of real-life spells that you can learn to cast yourself. What the hell? That is... I don't know if you got that. I have to read it again. Don't forget to flip to the back for 2 bonus stories and an exclusive collection of real-life spells that you can learn to cast yourself. Ugh. Oh, God. Oh, wait, here's a biography on him. Dr. Chuck Tingle. Oh, there's more here. Hold on, I have to expand it first. Dr. Chuck Tingle is an erotic author and Taekwondo Grandmaster, almost black belt, from Billings, Montana. After receiving his PhD at DeVry University in holistic massage, Chuck found himself fascinated by all things sensual, leading to the creation of The Tingler, a story so blissfully erotic that it cannot be experienced without eliciting a sharp tingle down the spine. Chuck's hobbies include backpacking, checkers, and sport. All right. Wow. That reminds me of so much stuff as a kid. All right.